Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Hurricanes Unfiltered Live. Haven't done this in about, I don't know, a few months because football season ended and really wasn't a lot to talk about. I mean, we did watch basketball, but we got spring football, we got recruiting going on. And ladies and gentlemen, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing to y'all and having with me tonight Anthony Aguirre. He is the Miami Hurricanes beat writer for Roundtable. So if you haven't checked it out, Roundtable, what's the website for that, Anthony?
If you just look up roundtable.io/NCAA/Miami, you'll find it. If you download the Roundtable app, then that's way easier to find us. Click the team tab, then you find NCAA, then you find Miami, and you just find all our hard work. We're covering, we provide everyday coverage for free, so make sure to
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah, dope, man. I appreciate you being on here. And I've known Shandell Richardson, who is runs the site for many,
Yes,
God,
sir.
many over 20 years, and I've contributed some videos to the site. Happy to have you on here. If you're in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, definitely leave a comment. Again, it's been a minute since we've done this, and of course, once football season starts up again, we will be doing it probably starting in early August when right when they're doing fall workouts and getting ready for the season. Anthony, were you at how much time did you get a chance to spend at spring practice or what have you?
I wasn't able to be much of a presence out there, but I kept my tabs open every single day since it started. You know,
Hmm.
a lot of rumblings about the new offensive line. That's a position I'm very intrigued with because, of course, you lose four starters. You're moving Matthew McCoy to right tackle after playing left guard. So I find that very interesting to see how that plays out. But I'm not too worried about it because knowing when you have an offensive line coach like Mirabal, when you have a head coach like Cristobal, for sure, these offensive linemen have played every position, even if they're not playing it consistently. So I'm not worried about it, but I'm just so intrigued on how that unit will work because, of course, if they provide just the same protection they provided Carson Beck for Darian Mensah, then this offense has all the potential to be rolling.
So what are your thoughts on Darian Mensah? Obviously, he helped lead Duke to an ACC championship before the Miami Hurricanes could win an ACC championship, which I do think actually had contributed a little bit to us getting into the playoffs. I like to believe that the head-to-head really mattered,
Hmm.
but I also do think that the ACC not having a team in there did contribute when they beat Virginia, who would have otherwise been in there, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know if we would have made it, but what are your thoughts of Darian Mensah and what you've seen from
I
him?
I love everything that he has to offer. Just as a dual threat quarterback, he can definitely run. He has a cannon for an arm, and just given all the weapons he has around him, he has everything to succeed. He has all the ingredients to be a Heisman Trophy candidate. That should be a legitimate topic, somewhere down the season. So I think that he has just everything in place to succeed, especially if the offensive line just again if they manage to do their job the same way the last unit did just as good, then there's no excuse to not go have a dominant season.
So I just saw some breaking news. Don't know if you've seen it yet, but I just saw some breaking news. Mark Matthews is set to decide on Friday,
Mm-hmm. I saw.
on May 15th, between Texas A&M, Miami, LSU, and Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he has an official visit scheduled to Miami on May 29th, which was announced last week.
Yeah.
This is the stuff in recruiting that wholly disgusts me. What are your thoughts? Because I thought, based on what he said a week ago, that he was going to push back his decision until he took his official visits. Well, now it seems like something's changed, and now I don't know what to think. What are your thoughts? Because this is wild.
All signs point to Texas A&M. It's just at this point, it seems like the inevitable. It seems like the Hurricanes program has done everything and anything they could to really just make a push and regain some momentum that they had. But I think this is just it's just a race you're gonna lose. You can try to flip him, yeah. I mean, you just flipped a 5-star cornerback. We'll get into that maybe later. But when you see something like that, you just you just gave it all you had at that point.
Why do you think he's why do you think for sure that he's A&M at this point? I mean, I don't even know what to think with these guys anymore. I honestly
I
I
mean,
don't know what
they've
to
had
think
the
anymore.
momentum in recent reports, and even just then, if it was so clear that he was going to be with Miami, I'm pretty sure he would have committed by now. And so just all this dilemma, drama, reports, it's just it is what it is. And Texas A&M, they got a bunch of 5 stars already, so they're looking at another one. It it is what it is.
I have no idea anymore. I used to cover recruiting heavily back in the day when I was with Inside the U. I was one of the founders of Inside the U, and having the unfortunate responsibility of contacting high school athletes who at the time were not being paid $1 million to go play football in college, who were deciding based on whatever under the table perks that they were getting, and I don't know, actually liking the school that they were going to go to, and it
Yeah.
not always being not being completely a business transaction. Now this is nothing more to me than business transactions going on, and they don't give a shit about these schools. They just care about who's going to pay them the most, where they're going to play fastest. And so now but then again, I'm looking at a guy here who's, again, a week ago, we had a different story after the visits from Mirabal or whoever, I think it was Mirabal visited him. It's like, this stuff is annoying to me. It's just, from your time in doing this, and don't know how much time you've spoken with, how many times you've spoken with recruits or not, because I don't speak with recruits anymore. I just go based on what I read, and report it. In the past, I would speak to recruits, and them tell me a story, and then them tell another site and another site and another site, 4 different stories. What has your experience been, and what do you think of this whole process
Yeah,
now when it's basically the biggest check?
I don't talk to recruits either. It's just more so the reports because it's like you said, it's a business transaction at this point, and there's absolutely no loyalty out there. So I just go off the reports, same as you, and read what I read. I write stories on them. Try to give some background on the players, what other programs were interested, their rankings. Check some film on them to see what could maybe stand out on them. But at the end of the day, high school recruiting is like you said, it's not what it was 20 years ago. Definitely, NIL has changed so much of college sports overall. So yeah, it's just more so. I'm not taking recruits' word for it. With how things are today.
Yeah, this one, just again, this one, and the thing is, everyone says it's not money, but I don't believe that. I will never believe it's not money. I'll never believe that. And I'll tell you this, look, when I was covering this team very, very closely, and obviously, look, we just picked up a 5-star flip from
Yeah.
Georgia and Dante Wright, and again, 5-star guys are 5-star guys, and now it's on you as a staff to develop those guys and make them NFL players. Um, and them also putting in the work in to earn time on the field and earn that opportunity. I mean, you guys like a Bryce Fitzgerald who killed it last year, and
Yeah.
Malachi Tony, obviously, who's in my opinion the best football player in the country as a freshman. I thought he was the best player in the country, and that's not being biased. That's just me saying all around player. He does everything. There was nothing that he didn't do. So you got guys like that who come in and make that type of immediate impact, and then have you talk about money. I mean, yeah, I do think it's money related. So you're telling me that if Mark Matthews was offered $1 million by Texas A&M and Miami offered him $2 million, he'd say no? Like, that he'd say no? Would he say no to $2 million? Like, the Godfather. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. Like, what are we doing here? This is always about money. Don't tell me you want to go live in freaking College Station, whatever the hell it is, in Texas A&M. I mean, nobody who the hell wants to live there.
No,
Did you
not
go to
even that. But
did you go to that did you go to the game against Miami over there for the playoff
no,
game?
definitely
Okay.
not. Definitely not. But I've talked to people recently who went there just to like pick up on how the environment was. It
Hmm.
was electric, of course. That building it lives up to the hype of the 12th man,
Yeah,
and of course that playoff environment was chaotic.
I'm
You know,
sure.
obviously no one could score. Winds were annoying for field goal kickers, but yeah, I mean Texas A&M again, they've drawn talent, but they've never succeeded to the extent that they should have. But so that is what it is. I mean, if that playoff matchup wasn't enough to maybe decide where to go, then we all know what it's about.
I guess also the thing that I remember back, was that we would lose. Again, we just picked up a 5-star flip, but we would lose the best guy in Miami or Fort Lauderdale. Like we would
Hmm.
get the. This is not a knock on any player, because people get all sensitive. We would miss Dalvin Cook, and we would get the other guy. Do you even know who the other guy is? Most people probably forget that the other guy was Joe Yearby. We would get even recently. We got JoJo Trader. We missed on Jeremiah Smith. Like, and you see where that's turned out that JoJo Trader's not even here anymore. In 2 years, he's gone for whatever reason. He ain't here anymore. And Jeremiah
Hmm.
Smith is going to be the number one pick in the draft next year, more than likely, unless something ridiculous happens. Um, and to lose a guy like this, who, from my understanding and everything that I everything that I've my son goes to a Catholic school. His friend is in his class. His brother plays on the St. Thomas football team, and he flat told me that for weeks Matthews has been telling everybody he's going to Miami for weeks. So it's like, don't tell me the environment or playing left tackle is what made this guy decide he wants to go to Texas A&M. If that's what happens, so it's like everything has been said there. And the thing is, at St. Thomas Aquinas, they don't play that crap. They don't play these games on recruiting. They don't do the hat flipping and stuff like that. For people that know St. Thomas Aquinas, they used to have a February signing day, and now I guess it's in December now. Maybe it's both, because they don't leave early from St. Thomas. You gotta stay there all the way through. As far as I know, they don't let people leave early from St. Thomas. Kind of like Columbus. You go to the end of your school. There's no early departures. So they already know. There's no like the hat game where they're flipping hats crap like that. I mean, I guess he'll do that now. Like they would never allow the kids to wait to the last day where they say we're going to make a decision today. Like that didn't roll that way. And but at the same time, do you stop recruiting him? Are you there?
Um,
Do you stop recruiting him?
do you stop? Probably not. I mean, they've been very heavy on this guy. I don't see why they would stop now.
Do you stop because yeah. Yeah, why stop? Like that's the thing when people say like a guy. So this guy that we just flipped, Dante Wright from Georgia. Obviously, we didn't stop recruiting him. We flipped him. Why would you stop recruiting this dude in your backyard? I don't care who he picks on Friday. I would like to be Miami, but guess what? If he picks Miami, you need to keep recruiting him. It's not like you stop. You got to keep, honestly, giving him the Gok 3000 treatment, and blowing him every damn day. You got to keep on doing that. You can't stop recruiting him, and then because then at that point, like, well, I guess I'm not that important, and I'm gonna flip and go to A&M anyhow. If he picks A&M on Friday, he's not enrolling at A&M on Saturday. So why the hell would you not? And if he's still visiting Miami on the 29th, like that's just bananas to me. Like, what, you're gonna still like? Is he gonna cancel his visit now? Because I'm not.
No
I
word.
can't find anything about him canceling his visit.
There's no word on that yet. But I will say, after Wright flipped, he canceled all of his official visits. He had a few
Uh,
in the upcoming months. They're all
mm,
canceled. He just tweeted out that he closed
that's great.
recruitment, or that was another recruit. But if I mistook the guy, my mistake.
Okay,
But either way, I know I read that he canceled all his official visits.
that's
So
great.
that should show that hey, he is truly committed to the U.
That's great for him, absolutely. And I know that the stuff's been said that Mark Cristobal doesn't want guys visiting other schools after they commit to Miami, which I understand. But that's not how the game used to work. And I remember, but I'd also say to people like, why are you committing if you're not committed? Because the fact of the matter is, you made a commitment, but commitments don't mean shit. By the way, let me reintroduce our guest today, Anthony Aguirre. He's the beat writer for the Miami Hurricanes for Roundtable. So go Roundtable Miami Hurricanes, and you'll be able to find that link. He is the beat writer for the Miami Hurricanes. First time on the show with us. I've contributed to the site before. We're just chopping up Miami Hurricane football as we are now in May, and before you know it, it will be August, and we'll be
Yeah.
having a season opener against whatever bum team we're playing to open Stanford, whatever bum team we're playing, because our schedule really is kind of trash until we go to Clemson, I think. And behind that, I mean, goodness gracious, what are your thoughts of this team and going into this season? And you got a chance to watch this team this past year, 13-3, and have their rise, their collapse, and then their re-rise again and get all the way to the national championship. And now you look at this team right here. What are your thoughts of 2026?
The run game was obviously very important last season, especially because Carson Beck couldn't throw in the first 5 games. He was still dealing with his issues. But since now that you have a healthy quarterback, you have everything else. Uh, like they have everything to again have a successful year. They have everything in place to win the ACC this time, and not choke to any teams that they should choke on anybody. So they have everything. They have a great quarterback. You got all the wide receivers. You revamped that core like tremendously. By the way, you still got a pretty good offensive line. You retain all your running backs. None of them entered the transfer portal, which is very unique in today's day and age of college football. So I for me, and because this schedule is so weaker than last season's. I mean, last season was more exciting, especially when you face like in-state rivals very early in Florida and Florida State. This time around, it's just you should be like close to 2024 where you're beating teams left and right. That's what the standard should be. You dominate each of these teams. Notre Dame will be a very exciting game. I think that one could go back and forth. But overall, this team has everything to succeed. It has no excuse to fall short of expectations unless drastic injuries happen. But hope to God nothing happens like that. But they got everything in place, including that defense, to still be one of the best in the country. So there's no excuse to not win the ACC.
Yeah, the ACC obviously is one that is something that we all want to see. I obviously would prefer to win a national championship over an ACC championship, but if I don't win a national championship, I definitely want to win an ACC championship, because there's no excuses that the guy that just won the ACC championship can't win an ACC championship with this talent after he won it with Duke's talent. And you took the best receiver from that team, and the quarterback from that team. There are no excuses for that. The schedule is softer than butter overall. They got the road game at Notre Dame. They do play Florida State at home. The toughest game might be Clemson on the road, and I don't think that game is all that tough. Uh, I just this the schedule is podunk in my opinion. Realistically, you can ill afford to lose a game in the ACC this year, in my opinion. You can't lose an ACC game. The only game
I
you can
agree.
afford to lose is the Notre Dame game, because the ACC stuff, you won't get the benefit of last year of going 10-2 and making it if you lose an ACC game and don't win an ACC championship. Like, you won't have that benefit this year. You drop two ACC games, you're done. Like, you're done. This one won't. They won't be. There will be no forgiveness on this one. What do you think of that?
I 1000% agree. That
Mm.
because this team is way more talented. Talent wise is way more than last year's. Even
Yeah.
yeah, even though you lose Ruben, even though you lose Akeem, you still got great guys on the defensive front. So there is no excuse to not win the ACC this year, especially with just the revamped wide receiver core. You kept all your running backs. You have a quarterback who's healthy right away, and he has again all the talent in the world to succeed with everything around him. So there is if you lose one ACC game, you're already disappointing.
You know, I I'm happy for Carson Beck that he's said on in an interview that his arm feels better than it's felt in a while, and like you could see in the pro day and in the NFL combine he was whipping that ball. We didn't get to
Yeah.
see him whip that ball this season. I mean, the first half of the year he couldn't throw the ball. It was still an injury he was dealing with. He had no time to get acclimated. He had no time to work out. Really, it was just he had fall practice, and that was basically it. And then he beat Notre Dame in the season opener. And I mean, people jumped on him, and they I thought people were way too over the top with him in terms of hard on him. You know, and I did a video the other day on the Beck thing with Arizona where he says his arm feels great. I think he can start there this year. Their team is not good. They don't have backs. If he shows, I think he can start. The I don't think people truly appreciate what that guy did. This is a program that for 24 years hasn't done shit, like nothing. And this guy gets you in 1 year and helps you get to a national championship game. How did you feel about his performance last year and how he got treated by a lot of Hurricanes fans like mid-year, like he's trash, he's this, he's that, and then you hear these idiots nationally say, "Oh, all he does is throw his picks." It's like, what game are you like? Even the Louisville game, those are not all on him, and even against SMU, again, not on him. Not all the one that was dropped could have been a touchdown. And the one to Malachi in the end zone, I thought Malachi ran the wrong route. He drifted up the field instead of going straight across. And I think that was what allowed the interception. Wasn't a great throw, but that's what allowed the interception. I mean, obviously the one against Indiana hurt like hell. But again, I didn't like that play call at that point. We were dinking and dunking it right down the field, and then we're gonna throw the ball deep, and it didn't make a lot of sense. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree with you. I think Carson has everything. He has everything what it takes to start for Arizona, because you have the two veterans that are already there. They're not really like standout guys. They're not franchise guys. Now, granted, the Cardinals, they have understanding that this is a gap year for them. Way more they have way more things to fix up before they're in any sort of contention in the NFL. But I think Carson is a good building block for that. And like you mentioned, he got a lot of shit throughout the season, and I thought it was mostly undeserving. I mean, we're talking about someone who again still managed to lead the team 5-0. Yes, you have a couple of bad games here and there, but they weren't all on him. And just look at what he did in the final four games of that regular season against NC State, against Virginia Tech, against Pitt. He came through with big performances in those games that eventually led to getting to the playoffs. And again, like we said, against Texas A&M, that whole game was out of whack itself. But then you look what he did against Ole Miss. You look at what he did against just all these other teams and Ohio State. Like, he balled out. He showed toughness in those games, especially when he managed to actually use his legs to extend a couple drives and keep the offense alive. I mean, we never saw Carson Beck as a dual threat quarterback. He never showed that much in Georgia, but he did it in timely situations, and it paid off in the playoffs. And of course, you look at that game-winning touchdown against Ole Miss. He did that. So
Yeah.
he definitely gets too much shit that I think it's too much. I understand criticism, but to give him all that kind of blame, it was ridiculous. Also, let's keep in mind, he got hit so hard before that deep throw. He got hit really hard, and according to him, he could not hear anything, and there were maybe symptoms of a concussion at the time. But of course, he was not coming out of that game, not a chance.
Mhm.
So, and then the interception happened. But if you're gonna give him shit for what he did during the regular season, then give him his flowers for what he did to get you guys to a spot that you haven't been in for over 20 years. I'm 23 years old. I was not alive when the last time they made the national championship. Like, come on now. What are we doing with this?
I'm 48, man. I'm 48. We ain't done shit since 2002 when we lost to Ohio State. I mean, I'm 48. Like, it's been your lifetime. You've watched
Exactly.
us suck for 23 years. Well, really, probably for 20 because you were a baby. You don't remember this team being good. You have
No.
no knowledge of Miami being a program that mattered. And that's the thing. Like, he did this. He brought me back to '01. And the excitement this year and being in the national championship game, despite it costing an arm and a leg to go. I mean, I had season tickets, so I actually bought them at face value. No, sorry, people. If you want to get face value tickets, you should just become a season ticket holder. But my God, the guy did that, and I didn't realize. I didn't even know about that. You guys hit so hard that he thought he had concussion symptoms. I didn't realize that. I actually did not know that. So I learned that.
Yeah.
Even more
He
reason
got
why the hell we throwing the
that's
ball
how
deep.
hard he got hit. He couldn't hear what was being told in that helmet. He could not
Even
hear
more
anything.
reason why the hell are we throwing the ball deep? We should have kept dinking and dunking. Thanks, Shannon Dawson. Jesus Christ. Because you
Yeah,
know
but
what killed
but here's the thing though. I don't nobody knew. Not even Shannon knew. Mario Cristobal didn't know. He didn't say a word. He just simply took the hit, and next thing you know, the throw happens.
that was on the personal foul then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you know what's crazy is if we had completed that pass and we had scored on that play, because he was open. He was
He
open.
was open.
He
He
was
had
open.
everything go. He had
If
it was Mary. I'm pretty sure it was Marion. Yeah, he had all field
yeah,
to
he was
go for
open.
it.
He was open. If he gets that ball out there and we score, we had not stopped them in the fourth quarter until they allowed us to. When they committed that silly 2nd and 1, penalty, motion, false start, whatever it was, that allowed us to have another chance. Because you remember, it's 2nd and 1. This game is over with. Just
Yeah.
quarterback sneak this shit, and you're putting your knee down. It's over with. We got another opportunity, and we hadn't stopped anybody in the fourth. I wanted to score. I wanted to score with 1 second to go because our defense was gassed.
Yeah,
I mean, they
the
seemed
DBs just they
gassed,
had nothing left.
and our DBs got smoked most of that game. They did not do a great job especially in the fourth quarter specifically.
Hmm.
Um, so it's like, I'm a Carson Beck fan, and I really thought he took a bum rap most of the season, and when people were talking trash about the dude and all that. Yo, if you're in the chat, man, if you're in the room watching us, man, please do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Jump on board, leave a comment in here, let us know that you're in the building so I can recognize you. Shallow, Noel, Lester, as always, you're a big supporter. Appreciate you jumping on board. I've been growing Hurricanes Unfiltered now since August of last year, and so since we're not in football season, I haven't really done them that much. But looking at this recruiting this past week, has been a good week for the Miami Hurricanes. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
if Mark Matthews makes the decision and picks us, it will be a spectacular 2-week period. You pick up Ty Keys, running back at a Mississippi. The kid is running for over 3,200 yards and 45 touchdowns as a junior. That's utterly ridiculous. Pretty good, guy to get when you lost out on Myson Johnson, Myson Johnson Cook, whatever his name was. And I mean, we all know he took a paycheck to Auburn because there's no logical reason why he went to Auburn. Then you get Ezekiel Ayingbeal, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, big defensive lineman out of Houston. Both of these guys are 4-star dudes. And then you get this flip from Dante Wright at a Long Beach Poly. I mean, West Side, let's bring these guys from the West Side into South Florida. That's obviously going to make Kirby Smart really unhappy with Mario Cristobal. But what are your thoughts of these recruiting wins after it seemed like we were seemingly having some recruiting losses like a week earlier before that?
Yeah, when we lost out on on Myson, like that one was like, okay, what happened? Like, because it seemed like the U was a lock for a moment, and then he went to Auburn. But getting Ezekiel, like you're gonna keep that defensive front strong for sure. He's got so much talent and a lot of great physical traits to just be another, like almost like an Ahmad Moan senior, just a really hectic defensive tackle. And then just Dante Wright again. Hey, I mean, we've had success with a California cornerback just recently in Keontae Scott, so why not go for another? So I see some very similar traits there. One recruit that really intrigues me and how things can go when he comes is Israel Abrams, 4-star quarterback. Because what interests me on this is, okay, because I expect Mensa to be one and done. The same way, even though he has, the same way with Carson and Camp, I expect him to be one and done. But go to the NFL draft, likely be a first round selection. But then, okay, Obviously, it all depends on what happened in the next transfer portal window. Does Judd stay? Does Luke stay? Do Darian Coleman? He's definitely going to stay. There's no reason for him to transfer as a freshman. But if, let's say, just hypothetically, Judd stays, Luke leaves, but you still got Darian. Like, where how far does Israel maybe come into the picture before he can maybe make a debut for the U? So I'm very intrigued on how that quarterback rotation is going to go after this season. But again, that's an issue for after this season. We'll find out once that transfer portal window opens, and we'll see who actually goes and who stays and whatnot.
Okay. Yo, folks, once again, I want to reintroduce Anthony Aguirre. He is the Miami Hurricanes beat writer for Roundtable. So go check out Roundtable on Google it, Roundtable Miami Hurricanes, and you'll find the website. He
Yeah,
is the beat writer for the Miami Hurricanes Roundtable site. Yeah, you mentioned Israel Abrams. I watched Ray Abrams on film. I think like we all watched film, and this guy is 24-0 as a quarterback. He's won back-to-back state championships. He looks absolutely sensational on film today. I know there were some people that liked the other guy out of Sarasota who chose Florida, but I was looking at Abrams and I'm like, this guy's a beast. Like he throws a dart for a ball. He's 6'4", 190. He's only going to get bigger. I don't see how you're not in love with this dude. I mean, watching him on film, like he just makes throws. And what you mentioned that the Mensa, yes, he's probably one and done. It would be a blessing in the world if he decided he wanted to stay for 2 years. We all know that's not going to happen. If he does his thing, regardless of winning a national championship or not, this guy's going to be a top 10 pick. And
thousand
I think
percent.
I think he's the best QB in the country. I find it hilarious how every guy that comes to Miami, these national people like to undervalue our guys. It's historically done that they always want to undervalue our guys. Guy commits to Miami. Oh, he went from a 5-star to a 4-star. Oh, okay, I got you. That's how it typically rolls because they don't like to see us on top. Yet they need us on top because when we're on top, college football's better, and they all know it. Because why in the world would you, when if you beat my like there was a point where when people would say fans would get on my ass with inside you because I'm like, look, yo, we're gonna go 7-6 again, 7-5, 6-6, whatever, and because I know what's going on and like, no, we're going 12 and I'm like, no, we're not. We're a 7-6, 7-5, 6-7, 8-4 at best. And that's literally what happened for almost 20 straight years. And then you see, so when people would say win, 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 people are counting us as a win for them. Like there was no, but then they get on the field and they do this crap to us. So obviously we still matter to y'all, even when we don't matter. Because you wouldn't otherwise do the upside down you to mock us if we didn't still matter. So we matter even when we were bad. Now that we're good, you see what's happening. Everyone's jumping on our dicks. I mean, all these damn people are jumping on our dicks. It's embarrassing. Like it's like you guys are funny, man. But yeah, the thing that I see with the quarterback situation is I'm not too worried about these other guys. The guy is Darion Coleman. And to me, Darion Coleman has to be the backup this year. If he's not the
Oh,
backup, then I'm concerned. Because then if he's not the backup, then I'm concerned. I'm just being real. He needs to be the backup because I don't think these other guys are ever going to play. Just being real, they're never going to play. They're never going to play, and that's just what it is. I the same way I expected Emory Williams to transfer.
yeah.
Like he had to. Like I'm not mad at him. Like bro, he wants to play. He's never going to see the field again. Unfortunately, when he blew his elbow out against freaking Florida State, that sucked and it ruined him. It ended him. And then of course Cam Ward showed up, um, you know, and that was that. But he was never going to play, and I'm happy that he got an opportunity somewhere else. But then you bring in Abrams. I'd like to see Miami go in the direction of the redevelopment of quarterbacks again. We used to be a school that every 2 years we're flipping them out. It wouldn't be but of course, all these guys now are pampered prima donna divas, and they want to play immediately. They expect to play immediately. Most freshmen quarterback don't play. They're not good enough. They're not ready,
Mhm.
and it would irritate me a little bit. Like they're not ready for it, and But I think if Darion Coleman is a backup, the number one, the number two, number two guy, if we get blowouts, we're gonna get that guy in the field. We're gonna get that guy on the field, right? And you can get him opportunity. If he's the third guy, you're gonna get somebody else, whether it's the Judd Anderson or Luke Nickel. I just don't see those guys ever playing. I don't see it. I don't see it. But I do see Israel Abrams playing. I do see an Israel Abrams coming in as a freshman and potentially maybe even taking the job. I could see it. Because what I don't want to have is you bring a guy like Abrams down here and then he never gets an opportunity because you want to go get another senior transfer.
Yeah.
Because you've now created, and I know why people do it, but I think it's better if you do it with 2 years. If you have 2 years and you know the guy will be here for 2 years, it works. When they're here one and done, it's a constant revolving door with your quarterback, and it makes it harder to have consistency and I guess what is the word I'm thinking of?
Mm-hmm.
You develop that cohesiveness and all that stuff that from year because then you get 2 years and 2 years and 2 years, Yeah, so I would love to see Darion Coleman be the backup because I think if he gets opportunity to play, he can be a playmaker. I mean, he could potentially be the starter as a sophomore. Or, I mean, Abrams, no, I look at that guy, 6'4", 190, whatever, 195. Those darts. Kid's good, man. I mean, to me is very impressive. And I watched all the film on all these guys, and he looked fantastic to me in comparison to everybody. So
Yeah,
looking right here. I'm looking right here. See, like I asked you about, continue recruiting Mark Matthews. They're recruiting Corona, California Centennial 4-star receiver Quentin Hale, top-rated pass catcher out west for the 2027 class, committed to USC earlier this offseason, but continues to be a priority target for Miami. Miami ain't stopping.
No.
Miami ain't stopping. Shannon Dawson visited him this week, it looks like, per this article on 24/7. And he says it felt like I felt like a huge priority, and it's been good to be recruited heavily by Miami, which just made the national championship game and is at the top of the sport right now. They can believe I can be a major playmaker for them in their offense. They get the ball to their receivers down the field in the intermediate game, so they believe I could be a factor in a number of ways. I'm a big body who could get open deep, stretch the field, and really open things up for them. Obviously, what they have done with Malachi Toney is special, and it's offense that as a receiver you really have to look at. He's number 50 overall in the country, 6'3", 192 pounds, according to 24/7. And they have him here as a hard commit. Like, what are your thoughts of that?
There's never a hard commit no more. There's never a hard commit. What like that? That's just a old used label at this point.
It's just to me, you're not stopping. And that's why it's like, okay, let's say Matthews does commit on Friday to A&M. I don't know why you would stop recruiting him. I would drop the Brinks truck off at his house the next day. Like, yo, change your mind, bro. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is stupid.
Yeah,
Stupid. Like, what are we talking about?
Nothing's official until he signs. That's the end all be all. Nothing's official until he signs.
Nothing at all. I mean, are there any other things that you've heard of, on the wires that are going on that I've missed or what have you? I mean, what are your go for it?
Nothing new as of yet. Nothing new.
What are your it says here Friday 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, CBS Sports 24/7 Sports is the time and date he's making his commitment. And God, of course, my son has a doctor's appointment at 4:00. Of course he does. I wonder where he's going to do it from. Will he do it from St. Thomas Aquinas, or will he go off campus and do it somewhere else? I'd have to think it'd be somewhere else because St. Thomas doesn't play those games. They don't really do that.
Yeah, I think it'd be somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. See anything else I'm looking at right here? But yo, it's good to have you on here, man. I appreciate it, of course. When we're saying USC, Southern Cal, not South Carolina, Duke. Southern California, not South Carolina. I'm not sorry, Leicester. Leicester. We're talking about Southern Cal, not South Carolina. Um, what are your thoughts on the flip though for Dante Wright? I mean, that's significant. We haven't done that in quite some time. Flip the guy like this from a team like Georgia.
I think it's a domino effect because again, if you can flip a pretty hard commit from Georgia, that's what makes me believe that this whole Mark thing is not entirely over. The
Mhm.
door is still open. It's always going to be open until he signs, and for sure other programs are going to try to make a push too. But Miami is a close second. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I would think. I would think. Right now, the Canes are number 9 according to 24/7 in recruiting rankings. I never understand these recruiting rankings or there's numbers. I have no, I've, and even when I did, I still don't understand them. Just being real, I still don't understand them. They're messy to me. It's like so UCLA is number 4 in the country in their recruiting class. UCLA, like come on, man, like what is UCLA is like they're nothing. Like what are we talking? They're number 4. What are they doing over there right now? Um, yeah, man. I don't have a whole lot more. I mean, I'm excited about this season. You know, I gave Mario Cristobal a lot of shit in the past. I wanted him to be the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes back in 2007 when they hired Randy Shannon, and they didn't hire Mario. They hired Shannon, and Mario goes over to Miami, goes over to FIU, and he signs. He's at FIU. He signs T.Y. Hilton, who played for my travel basketball team. And I was begging Miami to call Ty and give him an offer because he had gone to Miami in a second. He then makes obviously a gazillion dollars in the NFL, with the Colts, and then most recently before he retired with the Cowboys. And then they went to they went to Al Golden, then to then to Mark Richt, then to Manny Diaz. And I'm sitting here like, when are we going to offer Mark Cristobal this goddamn job? Like, when are we going to pay this man? And we do it, and then that first year we lose to Georgia Tech, the way we lost that game.
Oh man.
And I'm like, fire this motherfucker, man. I can't do this. Because this was what happened in Oregon with him. Like you would figure he had all the talent in the world, and like that's gonna overcome. And then you have that type of situation, and you look so bad. That game was, I mean, that's a nightmare. But even this year, I this past year, I torched him some. I thought the way we coached some games was very, very cowardly and very, very afraid and very, very non-aggressive and the whole nine. And when you that death by 1,000 cuts can work, but if you make one mistake, the death by 1,000 cuts becomes you because you made that one mistake that cost you the game. Like when we can push the ball down the field, even with Carson Beck's arm being not great early on, we were scoring easily. It was like, and then we're just running the same damn play right up the middle, and we're not utilizing the outside with Gerard Pringle and the whole nine. And but then as the season goes on, you start seeing some changes. I think the outside noise did have an impact. I do believe that because Shannon Dawson would get into some like quirky back and forths with the media, and he's like, "No, you haven't run that all year. What are you talking about? We're watching. We're not stupid. When we didn't start doing this yesterday." And then all of a sudden you start seeing some outside zone rushes, and then all of a sudden Mark Fletcher must have taken Popeye's spinach or something because he turned into an afterburner in the playoffs. Holy crap. And so I have completely flipped back to I'm on the Mario train. I've never not trusted his recruiting though. I've always thought he was an exceptional recruiter. It was more so that in-game crap that would bug me at times. But look, you build it from the inside with the big offensive line, dominant defensive line, and I mean, you have that monster O line. You're gonna kill people. You're gonna win. What do you think of that?
I thought if he couldn't turn it around this past season, that there could be some questions about his future. But obviously, you reached the college football playoffs. You went on a historic run. His job is safe for at least a few more years. But I love everything he's building, especially with the offensive line, and he's bringing in the pieces that uh it's just how do I say this? He's reestablishing the Hurricanes' pride.
Yeah.
When you get guys like Ruben, Malachi Tony, Mark, Francis Malinoa, guys who stuck around like through the deep ends of a rebuild. Of course, even Mario said it was going to take some time, and those specific guys see the light on the other side of the tunnel. It just shows what can happen when you trust in a system, when you trust in a plan, and to see it unfold in just 3 to 4 years. So now that they made it, there's definitely more pride within the U there, but there's also a new sense of respect for the from media. You're seeing guys from On Three, especially, that are believing in Darian Mensah, that believe that hey, Malachi Tune can make another jump, and even just this new wide receiver core is very exciting. Vendrivius Jacobs, Cam Vaughn, Dalen Upshaw, uh, Joshua Moore. Like these guys can take bigger roles this upcoming season. So to see that there's a big turnaround in the narrative, and even the narrative around Mario Cristobal is no longer, oh, he's what's gonna happen in late season form, what's gonna happen with those games. Now it's about, okay, can he just return to the college football playoffs? Can you reach back to the national championship game? That is a completely different flip around Mario Cristobal. And you mentioned he's a solid recruiter. It's just those in-game decisions that were very questionable. But just given how, especially those last 4 games of the regular season, how those resulted, how it forced the committee to look at Notre Dame, Miami head to head, even though you had the whole Duke situation like that definitely helped. But those last 4 games really forced that head to head in the selection committee rankings, and finally gave the Hurricanes the nod. So is for Mario Cristobal, it's just about taking things a step further. Even though yes, you reached a very high peak, you still gotta get over the mountaintop.
No, definitely. Look, end of the day, now you have set yourself up to where if you don't win the national championship, the season is a failure.
Yeah.
You're at that point. You're there. You got to get to that. You got to finish it. You got there. You got there. We were that close. You've got to finish it. Now there are no excuses. You've got a very talented team. I think this team is actually, like you said, I think it's more talented this year than it was last year. I think the wide receiver room is way better.
Oh yeah.
I guess it's not a knock on Keelan Marion or CJ Daniels, but this wide receiver room is better. It's flat better. Malachi Tony's going to be a year older now. Do I expect Malachi Tony to catch 120 passes this year? No. I think he'll probably drop into the 80s because the talent around him is that much better, which will take some of the pressure off of him so that when he does catch passes, it'll be even more wide open. Or even on the other side for them, Cooper Barkett, he's legit,
Mhm.
legit. And you got,
Athletic.
he's legit. Like he's not your typical wide receiver. He can actually play, bluntly. And then you got these guys like Vaughn and Jacobs who are transfers. These are top shelf dudes,
Yeah.
and you got a very very talented room. It's a dangerous room to me. It's a
It is.
special room, and you now have a QB that can dart the ball out there to them. And unlike last year, I would expect to see more of a Cam Ward style offense than we saw this past year, where we're just trying to run the ball a million times. The difference now becomes how do we look on defense? I think Corey Heatherman has instilled and installed a passion, a culture of that violent culture is infectious.
Mhm.
But you know what? It ain't for everybody. So when you go to a practice, you might not want to get hit like that in practice. You might not want to go that extra step in practice. But if you don't want to do that, then you don't belong here. Don't bother. Stay away. Because when you watch a guy like Ruben Bain grab his hat and not even look at the damn mirror because he's pissed,
Oh,
because he's
cold.
pissed, because he's pissed, because he's embarrassed because of how he dropped, because that bogus ass article that came out a couple weeks before the draft, and their arms are too short. Like they awoken, and like, as if you didn't even need to do so because he's a monster. But they really awoken a guy that now is even more motivated to prove everyone wrong. Not just
Mhm.
be great, but to prove everyone wrong. Which with this guy, it's like it's like don't trash talk Michael Jordan. He's great without you saying shit to him. And now it's like okay, you did that. Oh, thanks, great. Um, and that culture that Heatherman created. I mean, Heatherman looked like a cyborg up when he's in press conferences. Like looks has that look on him. And when they said excitement was it excitement, storm, and violence. That's just that's it can be a little scary. You watch how they were hitting people and swarming and attacking folks, and it's like when you look at that team, this team, and you say, God, if we had that defense for Cam Ward, we wouldn't lose
Oh
a
yeah,
game. We wouldn't have
that
lost a
was a
game.
narrative all
We
year.
would have been winning. We would have been winning games 60-10. We would have been beating the people 60-10. But again, nothing against Carson Beck in that regard, but I think Darian Mensah provides us now, he's a weapon that with those guys and that running back room now, tight end remains a mystery to me.
Yeah, that's a
I
very
pro- I
questionable position.
I proposed last year moving Joshua Moore to tight end because he's 6'4", 6'5", 215, 220.
Yeah.
And more so moving him there in pass situations. I'm so tired of looking at 3 wide receivers and a tight end in a 4 wide set. I don't want to have a tight end in my 4 wide set. You're not a wide receiver, bro. Sit your ass down. Go to we have enough wide receivers to put 4 wide outs there or even 5 and make other teams take a shit on themselves. Like because our tight ends were useless. And I did see that we do have we're favored now to pick up the tight end out of what the hell is his name again? Let me find it again. We're now favored to pick up the tight end out of Jesus Lord. Had it in front of me a second ago. Um, let me see here. What was his name again? Why? I just had it in front of me. I just had it in front of me. God, dog. It was a top 10 tight end that we're now like really right there. I'm gonna find it now because now I'm not. Now I seem stupid. I need to find this crap now because I was just looking at the story. Um, you know who I'm talking about?
I saw the report. I forget the name though too.
Let me not pull up my own videos now because I have it on my own videos here. Um, my job to be prepared, and that's my mistake, people. My apologies. The hell's the name again? I'm pulling it up. If anyone in the chat knows this, I'm not digging for this crap for the next 10 minutes. Please do put it up there right now. That'd be very helpful. Where is he? Why do I not remember this guy's name? I just had it in front of me. Just had it in front of me. God, dog. Uh, I apologize. I'm gonna be looking for a minute. I can't find it. Of course, I can't find it right now. Um. Okay. Jordan Karhoff. Jordan Karhoff. That's the guy. We're apparently now crystal balled for Jordan Karhoff. He's a top level tight end, and he's six. What was he? Out of St. Francis de Sales in Columbus, Ohio, which is big because that's Ohio State country. That's their backyard. He's a 3-star guy on 24/7 Sports, but 4-star for the composite, ranked in the top 205 nationally, number 9 tight end in the country. So that would be a big win for us to grab that dude. 6'4", 215 pounds. Obviously needs to get bigger, but that's big. Comment right here. Not sure if you already covered it, but what do you think about Matthews changing his decision day? Looks good for A&M. Seems that Miami official visit was a big ruse. He never was coming for a visit. Okay, see, that was a question we did pose. Does he cancel his visit to Miami on May 29th? So I just saw that while we were doing this live, and does that mean he's canceling his visit? Because I don't see anywhere where it says he's canceling his visit. So I don't know if I don't know.
There likely won't be any knowledge until after he commits.
Yeah, like we're not gonna know until then, because like I said earlier, I don't stop recruiting him. Like I'm gonna keep recruiting this dude. I'm not going away. You're in my backyard. I cannot lose you to fucking Texas A&M. So I'm gonna back the Brinks truck to your damn house, and I'm not letting you go, brother. Like that's just how it's gonna be. Like this is the thing. We cannot lose these guys. And I know it sounds silly, but we cannot lose these guys. Imagine if we had Jeremiah Smith with this team. Like you cannot lose these dudes. You can't. And so whether he picks them or not, David, I would tell you this: they better not stop recruiting him because he's got 6 more months, 7 more months before he signs in December, and he's not. And he, and actually at St. Thomas, you can't. I don't believe that you can leave early. So, hell no. Who knows? Maybe he waits until February. I don't know. I don't know these guys. I think money matters a whole lot more than anything else. I don't, so, you got any final words there for us today, Anthony? By the way, again, once again, Anthony Aguirre out of Miami Hurricanes, beat writer for Roundtable. So go check it out online. Go ahead.
All I would say is, whatever happens on that commitment watch, unless Mark himself says it's over, he's shutting down everything, it's really not over. Just keep that in mind. And just please join the Miami Hurricanes Roundtable community. We provide everyday coverage for free. Of course, football is our priority, but right now, since it's kind of dead season, it's only recruit stuff happening. We cover basketball, we cover baseball as well here and there. So we are well rounded, but of course, football, once that season kicks off, man, it's go time.
Hey, man, listen. The reality for Miami Hurricanes, University of Miami, is that there's football fans.
100%. It's
Because
just not
because no matter how much I love basketball, and no matter how much I enjoy watching the basketball team play, largely nobody cares. I mean, largely nobody cares. It's just the way it is. Unfortunately, I care, but a lot of people just don't care. They
I
don't. It's
mean,
not. They're not interested.
listen.
And base and
We've gotten
baseball.
we've gotten decent engagement on there. I'll just say that. I'll
You've
just
gotten
say that.
better. I got decent engagement for one game. I did one live for one game, and it did really, really well. And the rest of them did like complete utter dog shit. And I do full like analysis and play by play and passionate, and not
Yeah.
that boring crap you watch on TV. I make it exciting. I make it as if I do it as if it's a radio broadcast,
Hmm.
so that you actually know what the, because some people aren't watching. I mean, there'll be some people that be at their jobs and just listening to me and not actually watching the game. So
Yeah.
yeah,
We've got pretty good engagement, and
Mm,
granted, a lot of credit goes to Jay Lucas really turning that program around, especially in
yeah,
basketball.
yeah.
Baseball, again, it's not a full thing; it's just here and there. So again, once football season kicks off, then we are really taking the gear.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard for me to maintain baseball coverage, honestly. Like, just this so many games, and I got a job, bro. I got a full-time job, and maintaining a podcast with like 6 different platforms, it's tough. And I can't get down to Coral Gables to cover this stuff in person. But hey, Johnny Jackson, we don't know what he's going to do until he does it. Like, we don't know. We don't know this whole recruiting thing. And again, I tell you this: you don't stop recruiting. We just flipped the guy who was at going to Georgia, so I don't think you should ever stop recruiting dudes if you really want them here. That's just my opinion. But that's all there is to it, man. Do subscribe to both channels. I have this. I have the Hurricanes Unfiltered platform that I've built, and I want to make this a 100% Hurricanes Unfiltered platform. Initial podcast was built under Come On Now the podcast, but the YouTube algorithm plays games so much where videos don't get pushed the way you want them to be pushed. So, do subscribe to that channel as well. And if you haven't subscribed to Come On Now the podcast, please do so, and do follow us on at Hurricanes Unfiltered on Instagram. But again, Anthony, man, thank you for jumping on board tonight. That's going to do it for this edition of Hurricanes Unfiltered Live. We thank you, man. Again, Hurricanes Unfiltered Live, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.
Let's get it.